Right, before I call the Education Secretary to make a statement, I note the reports about the possible increase in higher education tuition fees started appearing in the media early this afternoon. The Secretary of State is... Mr. Holden, you don't help yourself, do you? The Secretary of State is here to make a statement, so honourable members will have the opportunity to question. If the premature media reporting is due to an unauthorised leak, then it is great discourtesy to this House. I hope the Secretary of State will be able to identify the guilty party and take appropriate actions and brief me accordingly. So I now hope the Secretary of State is going to announce the leak inquiry and that we will get all the details of how this could have got out, and the House will be informed once that goes forward. Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, can I begin by saying I wish to express my deep regret that the content of the statement that I'm about to give appeared in the media earlier this afternoon. It had always been my intention to come before this House first to make the statement, given the significance and importance of this, because I appreciate that you, members across this House and our conventions, rightly demand and expect that. I hope you can accept my deep frustration and regret at what has taken place, and I will take whatever steps I can to keep you updated on the matter, because I do respect the conventions of this House and my responsibilities to this House, Mr. Speaker.
Can I just say, can we take it from now that there will be a full inquiry into how this has happened, that everybody will be brought in, questioned, and you will then update us with a full inquiry? That's what I really want.
Mr. Speaker, I can give you that undertaking, and I will speak to officials on the matter as you request.
Thank you. Secretary of State, statement.
With permission, Mr. Speaker, I would like to make a statement about the future of our higher education sector and the changes that we will be making for students in the upcoming academic year 25-26. We have accepted in full the recommendations of the independent review of the Office for Students. We have paused the commencement of the last government's freedom of speech legislation while we consider the impacts on universities, students and the regulator. That is why I'm announcing today that, in line with the forecast set out in the budget last week, from April 2025, we will be increasing the maximum cap for tuition fees in line with inflation to £9,535, an increase of £285 per academic year. So I can also confirm today that we will boost support for students with living costs by increasing maximum maintenance loans in line with inflation, giving them an additional £414 a year in 25-26. And I'm confirming that from the start of the 25-26 academic year, a lower fee limit of £5,760 will be introduced for foundation years in classroom-based subjects such as business, social science and humanities. Under successive governments of both parties, it is central to the thinking of this government today. That's why responsible governments must treat universities not as a political battleground, but as a public good. That's why on this side of the House, we want to see the continued success of our young people. That's why we are determined to ensure the sustainability and success of our higher education sector, not just in the years ahead, but for the decades to come. I commend this statement to the House.
Shadow Minister Laura Trott.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and can I thank the Secretary of State for advance sight of her statement. Madam Deputy Speaker, we had a budget last week which declared war on business, private sector workers and farmers, as we've just been hearing. It seems today that the Secretary of State wants to add students to that list. Not content with pushing up the cost of living for everyone with an inflationary budget and pushing down wages with a national insurance increase, we are now in a situation whereby students will suffer from the first inflationary increase in a number of years at a time when students can least afford it. And, Madam Deputy Speaker, yet again, there was no sign of this in the Labour manifesto. Indeed, the Prime Minister made scrapping university tuition fees a centrepiece of its leadership campaign back in just 2020. Madam Deputy Speaker, perhaps we should start putting sell-by dates on statements the Prime Minister makes. But it is not just the Prime Minister. In July this year, at the time of the King's speech, the Secretary of State said that she had no plans to increase tuition fees. And yesterday, the Chancellor said that there was no need to increase taxes further. Yet, what is happening today, Madam Deputy Speaker, apart from a hike in the effective tax graduates have to pay? Madam Deputy Speaker, students haven't had a chance to prepare for this rise. They would have fairly expected, based on all the statements above, that the last thing a Labour government would do in office is put up tuition fees.